So, today we are gonna see, what if Naruto's parents left a secret training base in Uzushiogakure. Subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and also check the description. So let's begin the story. The morning sun cast long shadows across Konoha as Naruto Uzumaki sat on his apartment balcony, legs dangling over the edge. Today marked his 13th birthday, though like most years, he expected little celebration. He absently twirled a kunai between his fingers, a habit he'd developed during long, lonely evenings. Another year, he murmured to himself, watching the village below come to life. Merchants opened their shops, ninja reported for duty, and students made their way to the academy. The normal rhythm of Konoha continued, oblivious to the significance of the day for one blonde-haired troublemaker. Naruto had come to accept the quiet nature of his birthdays. There were no family gatherings, no special meals prepared by loving parents. His birthday also coincided with the anniversary of the Ninetales attack on the village, a day of mourning for many Konoha citizens, which further diminished any chance of celebration. He tucked the kunai back into his holster and stood, stretching his arms above his head. Time to get moving, he told himself, forcing enthusiasm into his voice. Today's gonna be different. I can feel it. This had become something of a birthday tradition, convincing himself that each year would bring change. Sometimes he believed it, sometimes he didn't. Today, he wasn't sure. After a quick breakfast of instant ramen, his third favorite flavor, saving the best for dinner, Naruto headed out. Team 7 had no mission scheduled today, but he planned to find his teammates for some training. Physical exertion always helped distract him from birthday melancholy. As he locked his apartment door, a flash of movement in his peripheral vision caught his attention. An ANBU Black Ops member stood at the end of the hallway, masked face turned in his direction. Naruto Uzumaki, the voice was formal, neither friendly nor hostile. The Hokage requests your presence immediately. Naruto blinked in surprise. Old man Sarutobi wants to see me? Did I do something wrong? He mentally scrolled through his recent pranks, trying to remember if any had been particularly egregious. The ANBU member didn't respond to the question. Please report to the Hokage Tower as soon as possible. With that, they vanished in a swirl of leaves. Mysterious, Naruto muttered, unable to suppress a grin. Maybe today would be different after all. A summons from the Hokage certainly wasn't part of his usual birthday routine. The Hokage's office always smelled of pipe tobacco and old scrolls. Hiruzen Sarutobi sat behind his desk, the wide-brimmed hat of the Hokage casting a shadow over his weathered features. When Naruto entered, the elderly leader looked up and offered a gentle smile. Ah, Naruto. Thank you for coming so promptly. No problem, old man. Naruto replied with his typical lack of formality. What's up? Does this have anything to do with the water balloons in the council chamber? Because I can explain. The Hokage raised a hand, chuckling softly. No. This isn't about any of your creative expressions of village spirit. He stood and moved around the desk, his robes rustling softly. Today is your 13th birthday, is it not? Naruto's eyes widened slightly. The old man had remembered. Yeah, it is. The Hokage nodded, his expression turning more solemn. 13 years. It hardly seems possible that so much time has passed. He seemed to be speaking more to himself than to Naruto. Turning toward a bookshelf behind his desk, Sarutobi pressed his palm against the seemingly ordinary section of wood. A small compartment slid open, revealing a scroll with distinctive red and gold markings. This has been in my safekeeping for 13 years, the Hokage explained, carefully lifting the scroll. With instructions that it should be given to you when you reach this age. Naruto stared at the scroll, confusion evident on his face. Someone left that for me? Who? The Hokage held the scroll for a moment longer before offering it to Naruto. I believe the scroll itself will answer that question. Naruto accepted it with unusual reverence, noting the weight and the quality of the parchment. The scroll was sealed with an intricate design he didn't recognize, a spiral pattern intertwined with what looked like flying thunderbolts. This seal. He began, running his fingers across the pattern. It's a blood seal, the Hokage explained. It can only be opened by someone with the right bloodline. Naruto looked up sharply. Bloodline? You mean? The elderly leader nodded. Yes, Naruto. That scroll can only be opened by you. For a moment, Naruto stood frozen, clutching the scroll as if it might dissolve into smoke at any second. Questions raced through his mind, but one dominated all others. Is this from my parents? The Hokage's expression softened, and he placed a gentle hand on Naruto's shoulder. I have kept many secrets from you, Naruto. Some for your protection, others because I was bound by promises. This scroll represents a promise I made long ago, to deliver it to you when the time was right. So it is from them, Naruto whispered, his voice uncharacteristically small. Open it in private, the Hokage advised. What it contains is for you alone, at least initially. When you've read it and processed its contents, you may wish to speak with me again. Naruto nodded, carefully tucking the scroll into his jacket. Thank you, old man. For once, the nickname carried no irreverence, only genuine gratitude. As he turned to leave, the Hokage added, Naruto, whatever you discover today, remember that you have always been valued in this village, even if it hasn't always been apparent. The young ninja paused at the door, a mix of emotions crossing his face. I'll remember, he promised before departing. Naruto's feet carried him automatically through the streets of Konoha, his mind too preoccupied to pay attention to his surroundings. The scroll pressed against his chest felt simultaneously like the heaviest burden and the most precious treasure he'd ever carried. He found himself atop the Hokage monument, sitting cross-legged on the fourth Hokage's stone head, his favorite thinking spot in the village. The irony of his choice would not be lost on him later. With trembling hands, he removed the scroll from his jacket. The late morning sun illuminated the seal, making the golden elements shine. Naruto bit his thumb hard enough to draw blood, then hesitated. What if it's not what I think? What if it's disappointing? He asked the empty air, suddenly afraid of what he might discover. Taking a deep breath, he pushed aside his fears. Only one way to find out. He pressed his bloody thumb to the seal. For a second, nothing happened. Then the seal began to glow with a soft blue light. The spiral pattern rotated, the thunderbolt design pulsing with energy. With a gentle hiss, the seal dissolved, and the scroll unfurled slightly in his hands. Heart pounding, Naruto opened it fully. The interior contained two distinct sections of writing in different handwriting, along with several complex sealing formulas around the borders. But what immediately caught his attention was a small photo secured to the top of the scroll, a picture of a man and a woman, both smiling brightly at the camera. The man had spiky blonde hair strikingly similar to Naruto's own and wore a white coat with flame patterns. The woman had long, vibrant red hair and a wide, mischievous smile that somehow seemed familiar, though Naruto had never seen it before. With a jolt, Naruto recognized the man. Everyone in the village knew that face. It was carved into the very stone he sat upon. The fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze, hero of Konoha and the ninja who had sacrificed himself to seal away the Nine Tails. His eyes darted to the first section of writing. My dear son, if you're reading this, then you've reached your 13th birthday, and the third has honored our request to give you this scroll. First and foremost, happy birthday, Naruto. Your mother and I wish more than anything that we could be there to celebrate with you, to see the young man you're becoming. My name is Minato Namikaze, and I was the fourth Hokage of Konoha. The beautiful woman in the photo is your mother, Kushina Uzumaki. By now, you may know that we died during the Nine Tails attack on the day of your birth. What you likely don't know is the full truth of that day, or of your heritage. Naruto's hands shook so badly that he had to set the scroll on his lap to continue reading. His breath came in short gasps as the words blurred before his eyes. The fourth Hokage was his father. His father. Get it together, he muttered to himself, wiping his eyes with his sleeve. Keep reading. I won't burden this letter with all the details of that night. The third can fill in what gaps remain, now that you're old enough to know. What's important is that you understand that your mother, and I loved you deeply, even though we had such little time with you. Our final acts were to protect you and the village, and neither of us has ever regretted that choice. You carry a heavy burden, Naruto. The Nine Tails sealed within you was my last act as Hokage. I chose you not only because I believed in your strength, but because as my son and as an Uzumaki, you have unique advantages in containing the fox's power. Your mother was the previous Nine Tails Jinchuriki, and the Uzumaki clan has always had special chakra and vitality uniquely suited to this role. Naruto paused, his mind reeling from this new information. His mother had also been a Jinchuriki? The Nine Tails had been sealed in her before him? He'd never heard anything about the Uzumaki clan having special abilities. Why had no one told him these things? With a deep breath, he continued reading. I imagine your life hasn't been easy. Jinchuriki often face fear and isolation, and without us there to protect you, well, I can only hope that the village has honored my wish for you to be seen as a hero. Though I fear that human nature being what it is, that may have been too optimistic. But you are not alone, Naruto, even if it feels that way. You come from two proud lineages. The Namikaze name I made known through my own efforts, but your mother's heritage, the Uzumaki clan, has an even richer history. The Uzumaki were once a powerful clan with their own village, Uzushiogakure, in the land of whirlpools. They were renowned for their sealing techniques, immense chakra, and longevity. Sadly, their power made them targets, and Uzushiogakure was destroyed during the wars. Your mother was one of the few survivors, sent to Konoha as part of our village's long alliance. The spiral symbol on Konoha's flak jackets is actually the crest of the Uzumaki clan, a testament to the deep bonds between our villages. Naruto unconsciously touched the spiral symbol on his own jacket, seeing it with new eyes. All this time, he'd been wearing his own family crest without knowing it. Now, to the purpose of this scroll, beyond simply introducing ourselves to our son. Your mother and I prepared for the worst before your birth. The Nine-Tailed Seal was weakening during Kushina's pregnancy, and we knew there was danger. So we created a contingency plan. Before Uzushiogakures' destruction, your mother's family secured many of their most precious scrolls and artifacts in a hidden sanctuary beneath the village. After coming to Konoha, your mother visited this sanctuary several times to maintain it. When we learned we were going to have you, we expanded this sanctuary into a training facility specifically designed for you, our son. This facility contains everything we could think to leave for you: training programs, weapons, scrolls on techniques from both our repertoires, and most importantly, special seals that contain imprints of our chakra, pieces of ourselves that can interact with you, teach you, and in a limited way, allow us to be there for you even now. Naruto had to stop reading again as tears flowed freely down his face. His parents had prepared for him, had left something of themselves behind. All these years of feeling completely abandoned, of having no connection to his past, and now to learn that they had thought of him, had created something just for him. After composing himself, he returned to the scroll, now reading the second section, written in a rounder, more energetic handwriting. Naruto. My beautiful boy, this is your mother, Kushina Uzumaki, writing now. Your father is so formal with his letters, isn't he? I wanted to add my own message to make sure you know both sides of your heritage. First, I need to tell you how much I love you. Even now, writing this while you're still growing inside me, I love you more than I can possibly express. I hope that somehow, you've felt that love throughout your life, even with us gone. I want to tell you about the Uzumaki clan, my clan, your clan. We're not just known for sealing techniques, you know. Uzumakis are stubborn, determined, and full of life. We have strong chakra, great stamina, and we never, ever give up. Sound familiar? I bet you've got these traits too. Naruto couldn't help but smile through his tears. His mother's personality leapt off the page, and he could almost hear her voice, enthusiastic, warm, and loving. The training facility we've prepared has special sections for Uzumaki techniques. Some of these might come more naturally to you than your father's techniques. Don't tell him I said that. The location is hidden for good reason. What remains of Uzushio's knowledge would be highly sought after by other villages. At the bottom of this scroll are coordinates and instructions for finding the sanctuary. It's protected by blood seals that will only respond to an Uzumaki, so only you can open it. Well, you or any other Uzumaki, but we're pretty rare these days, you know. One more thing, Naruto. In Uzushio tradition, we have a saying, the whirlpool draws strength from what flows into it. Your life will bring many influences, friends, teachers, experiences both good and bad. Draw strength from all of it. Let it flow into you and become part of your whirlpool. That's the Uzumaki way. We love you so much, our son. We believe in you, your mother, Kushina Uzumaki, the red-hot-blooded habanero of Konoha. At the bottom of the scroll, as promised, were detailed coordinates for the location of Uzushiogakure, along with specific instructions for navigating the treacherous whirlpools that surrounded the island and finding the hidden entrance to the sanctuary. Naruto read the entire scroll 3 more times, memorizing every word, tracing his fingers over the handwriting as if trying to absorb some essence of his parents through their penmanship. He studied their photo until every detail was burned into his memory. His father's kind eyes, his mother's vibrant hair, the way they stood close together, radiating happiness. The sun had traveled a significant arc across the sky by the time Naruto finally rolled the scroll back up, the seal automatically reactivating to protect its contents. He sat in silence, watching the village below as he processed everything he'd learned. He was the son of the 4th Hokage. His mother was from a prestigious clan with their own village. He had a heritage, a history, a bloodline with special abilities, and somewhere, in a hidden sanctuary, his parents had left parts of themselves waiting for him. For the first time in his life, Naruto felt connected to something larger than himself. The emptiness that had always haunted him began to fill with names, faces, and stories. He was no longer just Naruto Uzumaki, orphan troublemaker of Konoha. He was Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, son of heroes, heir to 2 powerful legacies. I'm going to find it, he whispered, clutching the scroll to his chest. I promise, Mom, Dad. I'll find what you left for me. Evening shadows stretched across the village as Naruto made his way to the academy. Most students and teachers would be gone by now, but he knew one person who often stayed late, grading papers and preparing lessons. Iruka-sensei had been the first person to truly acknowledge Naruto. Despite a rocky start to their relationship, the academy teacher had become something of a surrogate older brother to the young ninja. If there was anyone Naruto trusted with this momentous discovery, it was Iruka. As expected, light spilled from the classroom windows. Naruto found his former teacher hunched over a stack of papers, red pen in hand. Working late again, Iruka-sensei? Naruto called from the doorway. Iruka looked up, surprise giving way to a warm smile. Naruto, what brings you here? I thought you'd be celebrating your birthday somewhere. Naruto entered the room, suddenly feeling shy about his reason for coming. Yeah, about that. Something kind of amazing happened today, and I needed to talk to someone about it. He fidgeted with the scroll hidden in his jacket. Someone I trust. Sensing the unusually serious tone, Iruka set down his pen and gave Naruto his full attention. Of course. What is it? After a moment's hesitation, Naruto pulled out the scroll and placed it on the desk. The old man, the Hokage, gave this to me today. It's from my parents. Iruka's eyes widened. Your parents? He repeated, his voice hushed with surprise. Naruto nodded, unable to keep the excitement from his voice as he continued. They left it for me before they died, with instructions that I should get it when I turned 13. It's sealed with a blood seal that only I can open. Iruka stared at the scroll, clearly processing the implications. Naruto, this is significant. Have you opened it? Yeah, Naruto confirmed, his voice catching slightly. It's from the 4th Hokage and his wife, Kushina Uzumaki. They were my parents, Iruka-sensei. Iruka's reaction told Naruto everything he needed to know. The Chunin's shocked expression, followed by a lack of denial, confirmed that this wasn't some elaborate prank or misunderstanding. You knew? Naruto asked, more curious than accusatory. Iruka hesitated before answering carefully. I suspected. There were rumors among the older shinobi, but it was forbidden to discuss. The 3rd made it a capital offense to reveal your parentage. He looked at Naruto with sympathetic eyes. It was for your protection, Naruto. Your father made many powerful enemies during the war. Naruto nodded slowly. That's what they said in their letter too. He paused, gathering his courage for what he wanted to ask next. Iruka-sensei, they left something else for me. A hidden training facility in a place called Uzushiogakure. I want to find it. Iruka's eyebrows rose higher. Uzushiogakure? The village hidden in the whirlpools? He let out a low whistle. That's not exactly a day trip from Konoha, Naruto. It's in another country, surrounded by dangerous waters. I know, Naruto admitted. The scroll has instructions on how to get there, but I can't exactly go on my own, not without permission or a mission. He looked at Iruka hopefully. I thought maybe you could help me figure out how to make it happen. The teacher leaned back in his chair, running a hand through his hair. This is complicated, Naruto. There are protocols for leaving the village, especially for someone in your unique situation. He chose his words carefully. The Hokage would need to approve, and given what you've just learned, I think you should speak with him again before making any plans. Naruto's shoulders slumped slightly. Yeah, I figured it wouldn't be simple. He brightened again almost immediately. But it's still amazing, right? My dad was the 4th Hokage, and my mom was from this special clan with their own village and everything. Iruka smiled, Naruto's enthusiasm infectious as always. It is amazing, and I couldn't be happier for you. His expression grew more serious. But Naruto, this information is sensitive. I'd advise against sharing it widely, at least until you've spoken with the Hokage again. That's why I came to you first, Naruto explained. I knew you'd give me good advice. He hesitated before adding, there's something else. The scroll mentioned that my mom was the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki before me. Did you know that? Iruka shook his head. No, that detail wasn't common knowledge, even among the shinobi ranks. He studied Naruto thoughtfully. It explains a lot though. The Uzumaki clan was known for their special chakra and sealing techniques. They were uniquely suited to containing tailed beasts. That's what the letter said too. Naruto exclaimed. It said I got these advantages from both of them, my dad's, well, whatever his special abilities were, and my mom's Uzumaki chakra. A moment of comfortable silence fell between them as Iruka considered everything Naruto had shared. What will you do now? The teacher finally asked. Naruto's expression grew determined. I'm going to find that training facility. If my parents went to all that trouble to leave something for me, I need to see it. He grinned, a hint of his usual mischievous self returning. Besides, think of all the awesome jutsu I could learn. Maybe even the flying thunder god technique my dad was famous for. Iruka couldn't help but laugh. Always thinking about new jutsu, aren't you? Some things never change. His expression softened. I'll help however I can, Naruto. This is an important journey for you. Thanks, Iruka-sensei. Naruto's gratitude was sincere, his blue eyes shining with emotion. For everything. As Naruto left the academy, the scroll safely tucked away again, he felt lighter than he had in years. The knowledge he'd gained today had changed something fundamental in his understanding of himself and his place in the world. For the first time, he had concrete answers about where he came from, who his parents were, and why certain aspects of his life had unfolded as they had. He looked up at the Hokage monument, his father's stone face illuminated by the setting sun. I'll make you both proud, he promised softly. Believe it. Later that night, back in his apartment, Naruto spread the scroll open on his small dining table. He'd grabbed a notebook and was carefully copying down the coordinates and instructions for finding Uzushiogakure and the hidden sanctuary. As he worked, his mind raced with questions and possibilities. How would he convince the Hokage to let him go to Uzushiogakure? Would his teammates come with him? What sorts of techniques and knowledge had his parents left behind? The practical challenges of the journey also occupied his thoughts. According to the scroll, Uzushiogakure was surrounded by perpetual whirlpools that made approaching by sea extremely dangerous. His mother's instructions included specific timing and navigation methods that would allow safe passage, but it would still be tricky. Then there was the matter of finding the entrance to the sanctuary once on the island. The instructions mentioned a spiral stone monument that served as a marker, with the actual entrance hidden beneath it, accessible only with Uzumaki blood and chakra. A sudden knock at his door startled Naruto from his planning. Hastily rolling up the scroll and hiding his notes, he went to answer it. The third Hokage stood in the hallway, his aging face bearing a gentle smile. May I come in, Naruto? Surprised by the late visit, Naruto stepped aside. Of course, old man. The Hokage entered, his gaze immediately settling on the partially visible scroll on the table. I see you've read it, he observed quietly. Naruto nodded, emotions bubbling to the surface again. Why didn't you tell me? The question held no accusation, only genuine curiosity. Sarutobi sighed, suddenly looking every one of his advanced years. I made a promise to your father. He had many enemies, particularly in Iwagakure, who would have targeted you had your parentage become known. He met Naruto's gaze directly. But beyond that promise, I feared the burden of such knowledge might be too heavy for a child already carrying so much. I could have handled it, Naruto insisted, though there was no real heat in his words. Perhaps, the Hokage conceded. Looking at the strong young man you've become, I think perhaps I underestimated you. He settled himself at the table, gesturing for Naruto to join him. I assume you have questions. Naruto sat across from him, mind racing through all the things he wanted to know. Thousands, he admitted. But right now, there's one big one. He took a deep breath. They mentioned a training facility in Uzushiogakure. I want to go there. The Hokage didn't seem surprised by this request. I suspected as much. Kushina spoke of this sanctuary to me once, though she never revealed its exact location. He stroked his beard thoughtfully. It's not a simple matter, Naruto. The journey is dangerous, and your status as a Jinchuriki complicates things further. But it's possible, right? Naruto pressed. I mean, if it was an official mission or something? Possible, yes, Sarutobi agreed. Though it would require careful planning. He studied Naruto for a long moment. Tell me why this is so important to you. Naruto's answer came without hesitation. They prepared it specifically for me. They wanted to teach me, to help me grow stronger, even though they couldn't be here in person. His voice grew quieter. All my life, I felt like I came from nothing, like I had no history, no family. Now I know that's not true. They left part of themselves for me to find. The Hokage nodded slowly, understanding in his eyes. Very well. I will consider how best to arrange this journey. Perhaps as a training mission for Team 7. He held up a hand as Naruto's face lit up with excitement. But I make no promises yet. There are many factors to consider, including how much to reveal to your teammates and sensei. Naruto's enthusiasm dimmed slightly at this caveat, but he nodded in acceptance. I understand. Thank you for considering it, at least. In the meantime, the Hokage continued, I believe there are things about your parents that you have a right to know. He smiled wryly. 13 years of secrets can't be unwound in a single evening, but we can make a start. For the next 2 hours, Naruto listened, entranced, as the third Hokage shared stories of Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki. He learned of his father's rise from orphan to Hokage, his legendary speed and brilliant mind. He heard about his mother's fiery temperament and incredible resilience, how she'd earned the nickname the Red Hot-Blooded Habanero for her fierce personality and distinctive red hair. The Hokage recounted their love story, how Minato had rescued Kushina when she was kidnapped as a child, how their friendship had blossomed into romance over years of missions and shared experiences. He spoke of their joy when they learned Kushina was pregnant, and their unwavering dedication to both their unborn child and their village. When the elderly leader finally rose to leave, the hour was late, but Naruto felt more awake than ever, his mind buzzing with new knowledge. Thank you for sharing all of that, Naruto said as he walked the Hokage to the door. It was long overdue, Sarutobi replied. I will send for you once I've had time to consider the Uzushiogakure matter. In the meantime, be patient, and remember, discretion is still advisable regarding your parentage, at least for now. Naruto nodded his understanding. I'll only tell people I completely trust. After the Hokage departed, Naruto returned to his table, pulling out the scroll once more. He traced his fingers over his parents' handwriting, feeling a connection to them that had never existed before. I'll find your sanctuary, he whispered to the scroll. And I'll learn everything you wanted to teach me. Outside his window, stars twinkled in the clear night sky. For the first time in his memory, Naruto fell asleep feeling truly content on his birthday, dreaming of whirlpools, flying thunderbolts, and 2 smiling faces that looked at him with unmistakable love. The following morning found Naruto at Training Ground 7, earlier than usual for team practice. His mind was still processing everything he'd learned yesterday, but he'd managed to get enough sleep to feel refreshed and focused. He sat cross-legged beneath a tree, reading through the notes he'd made from the scroll. If the Hokage approved his request to visit Uzushiogakure, he wanted to be prepared. You're here early, observed a familiar voice. Naruto looked up to see Kakashi-sensei approaching, orange book in hand as usual. His visible eye curved into what Naruto had come to recognize as a smile beneath the mask. Just reviewing some notes, Naruto replied, casually tucking his papers away. Thought I'd get some practice in before the others arrived. Kakashi raised an eyebrow but didn't comment further on Naruto's uncharacteristic studiousness. Any particular skills you're focusing on today? Naruto considered the question, thinking about his parents' specialties. His father had been known for speed and sealing techniques, while his mother had possessed special chakra and proficiency with Uzumaki sealing methods. Chakra control, Naruto decided aloud. And maybe some basic sealing techniques, if you know any. This earned him a more thoroughly raised eyebrow from his sensei. Sealing techniques? That's an unusual interest. Those are typically considered advanced skills, Naruto shrugged, trying to appear casual. I just think they seem cool. The way you can store things, or create barriers, or even seal away huge amounts of chakra. He gestured vaguely toward his stomach, where the seal containing the 9 tails was located. Seems useful, you know? Kakashi studied him for a long moment, his single visible eye unreadable. I suppose it would be, he finally agreed. I know some basic sealing techniques, though I'm far from a master. We can incorporate some fundamentals into your training if you're genuinely interested. I am. Naruto confirmed eagerly. Very well, Kakashi nodded. But first, let's focus on improving your chakra control. That's a prerequisite for effective sealing work. As they waited for Sasuke and Sakura to arrive, Kakashi guided Naruto through some advanced chakra control exercises. Naruto found himself approaching the training with unusual focus, imagining his parents watching him, wanting to make them proud. When his teammates finally arrived, Naruto was attempting to maintain a leaf on his forehead using only the barest minimum of chakra, a precision exercise that he normally would have found frustratingly boring. What's with him? Sasuke asked, gesturing toward Naruto's concentrated form. Kakashi shrugged. Apparently he's developed an interest in chakra control and sealing techniques. Naruto? Interested in the technical stuff? Sakura looked skeptical. Is he sick or something? I can hear you guys, Naruto grumbled, the leaf falling as his concentration broke. I'm just trying something new, that's all. Sakura approached him, genuine curiosity replacing her initial skepticism. Sealing techniques are really advanced, Naruto. I've read about them, but they require precise chakra control and understanding of complex formulas. Yeah, well, maybe I'm more suited for them than you think, Naruto replied, immediately regretting his defensive tone. Sorry, I learned some things yesterday that made me want to explore this area more. What kinds of things? Sasuke asked, his interest apparently piqued. Naruto hesitated, remembering the Hokage's advice about discretion. Just some stuff about my family, he said vaguely. Turns out I might have a natural affinity for this sort of thing. Before his teammates could question him further, Kakashi clapped his hands together. Alright, let's begin today's training. We'll start with sparring matches to warm up. As they paired off, Naruto found his thoughts drifting back to the scroll and the sanctuary waiting for him in Uzushiogakure. There was so much to learn, so many connections to his past waiting to be discovered. For the first time, he had a clear goal beyond his usual declarations about becoming Hokage. He wanted to understand and master the legacies his parents had left him, the techniques, the knowledge, and the values they had embodied. The path forward wouldn't be simple, but Naruto had never been one to shy away from challenges. With renewed determination, he focused on his training, knowing that every skill he honed brought him one step closer to being ready for whatever awaited him in his parents' sanctuary. As the morning sun climbed higher in the sky, Naruto Uzumaki trained with purpose, the weight of the sealed scroll in his pocket a constant reminder of the heritage he had only just begun to discover, and the journey that lay ahead. Training concluded in the early afternoon, with Naruto demonstrating unusual focus throughout the session. As Team 7 prepared to disperse, Kakashi called Naruto aside. Your concentration was impressive today, the Jonin noted, his visible eye studying Naruto carefully. This sudden interest in sealing techniques. It wouldn't have anything to do with your birthday yesterday, would it? Naruto tensed slightly, wondering how much his sensei might know or suspect. Sort of, he admitted cautiously. The old man, the third, gave me something that belonged to my family. Kakashi remained silent, waiting for Naruto to continue if he chose to. After a moment's consideration, Naruto decided to trust his instincts. Kakashi-sensei, how well did you know the fourth Hokage? The question clearly caught Kakashi off guard. His normally lazy posture straightened almost imperceptibly. Why do you ask? Just curious, Naruto replied, trying to sound casual and failing miserably. Kakashi regarded him for a long moment before answering. I knew him very well. He was my sensei. This confirmation sent a jolt through Naruto. Of course, he should have realized the connection sooner. Kakashi had been trained by his father. So you knew my mom too? Kushina Uzumaki? The words tumbled out before Naruto could stop them. This time, Kakashi's surprise was unmistakable. His visible eye widened, and he glanced quickly around to ensure they were alone. Sasuke and Sakura had already left the training ground. Naruto, Kakashi's voice dropped to just above a whisper. How do you know those names in that context? Naruto took a deep breath. They left me a scroll. It was sealed with a blood seal that only I could open. The Hokage gave it to me yesterday for my birthday. He met his sensei's gaze directly. They were my parents. Kakashi was silent for several seconds, processing this revelation. I see, he finally said. And the third knows you have this information now? Naruto nodded. He came to my apartment last night. We talked for hours about them. I understand. Kakashi's posture relaxed slightly. To answer your question, yes, I knew your mother as well, though not as closely as I knew your father. A hint of warmth crept into his usually detached tone. She was formidable. And kind, in her own way. She used to invite the entire team for dinner sometimes. Naruto drank in these small details hungrily. What was she like? As a person, Kakashi seemed to consider his words carefully. Kushina was vibrant. Loud, energetic, and absolutely determined. She had a temper that matched her red hair, but also a boundless capacity for love. His eye crinkled in what Naruto recognized as a genuine smile beneath the mask. You remind me of her quite a bit, actually. This comparison to his mother warmed Naruto's heart. And my father? Minato-sensei was brilliant, calm under pressure, and incredibly fast, not just physically, but mentally. He could analyze a situation in seconds and develop multiple strategies. Kakashi's gaze grew distant, reminiscent. But he was also kind. He believed in the good in people, sometimes against all evidence to the contrary. Naruto absorbed this information, trying to form a more complete picture of his parents. The scroll mentioned a training facility they left for me, in a place called Uzushiogakure. I asked the Hokage if I could go there. Kakashi's eyebrow rose sharply. Uzushiogakure? That's not an easy place to reach, even if you know where it is. I have coordinates and instructions, Naruto explained. The old man said he'd consider making it a training mission for Team 7. He looked at Kakashi hopefully. Would you support that? The Jonin folded his arms, considering. It would depend on the details and the Hokage's assessment of the risks. Uzushiogakure has been abandoned since before you were born, and the waters surrounding it are notoriously treacherous. He paused before adding, but if it contains knowledge and techniques left specifically for you by the fourth and Kushina, that could be invaluable. both to you personally and potentially to the village. Naruto nodded eagerly. That's what I was thinking too. And if it's a team mission, then I'd have backup if anything goes wrong. Let me speak with the Hokage, Kakashi offered. My support might help your case. Really? Thanks, Kakashi-sensei. Naruto's face lit up with genuine gratitude. Don't thank me yet, Kakashi cautioned. There are many factors to consider, including how much to tell Sasuke and Sakura about the true purpose of such a mission. Naruto's enthusiasm dimmed slightly at this reminder. Yeah, I've been wondering about that too. The Hokage said I should be careful about who I tell. For good reason, Kakashi confirmed. Your father made many enemies during the Third Shinobi War, particularly in Iwagakure. Knowledge of your parentage could make you a target. But Sasuke and Sakura are my teammates, Naruto protested. Don't they deserve to know what we're really looking for if they're going to come along? Kakashi sighed. It's a difficult balance. Trust is essential in a team, but so is security. He placed a hand on Naruto's shoulder. Let's see what the Hokage decides, and then we can discuss how best to approach it with the others. Naruto nodded, recognizing the wisdom in this approach. Alright. And thank you for telling me about them. My parents, I mean, they would be proud of you, Naruto, Kakashi said quietly. Despite everything, you've grown into someone worthy of their legacy. The words struck Naruto deeply, coming from someone who had known his parents personally. He bowed his head slightly to hide the emotion in his eyes. I hope so. As they parted ways, Naruto felt a new connection forming, not just to his parents through the knowledge he'd gained, but to Kakashi as well. His sensei was no longer just an aloof, chronically tardy jonin with mysterious habits, but a living link to his family's past. 3 days passed with no word from the Hokage regarding Naruto's request. He continued training with unusual diligence, focusing particularly on chakra control exercises. In the evenings, he studied the scroll, memorizing every detail of the instructions for finding Uzushiogakure and the hidden sanctuary. On the 4th day, as Team 7 completed a simple D-rank mission helping a farmer outside the village, a messenger hawk circled overhead before descending toward Kakashi. The jonin accepted the small scroll from the bird's leg pouch, reading it quickly. Well, it seems we have a new assignment, he announced to his curious students. The Hokage wants to see us immediately. Naruto's heart leapt with anticipation. Could this be about Uzushiogakure? The team made their way back to Konoha and reported to the Hokage's office. The third sat behind his desk, fingers steepled thoughtfully as they entered. Team 7, he greeted them with a nod. Thank you for coming promptly. His gaze settled briefly on Naruto before addressing the entire group. I have a special training mission for you. Naruto struggled to maintain a neutral expression, though his clenched fists betrayed his excitement. This mission will take you outside the land of fire, the Hokage continued. To an island off the coast that was once home to the village hidden in the whirlpools, Uzushiogakure. Sakura's eyes widened with recognition. Uzushiogakure? I've read about it in history books. It was destroyed during the wars, wasn't it? Correct, the Hokage affirmed. It was once a proud village and a strong ally of Konoha. The Uzumaki clan, who founded and primarily populated Uzushiogakure, were particularly renowned for their sealing techniques and special chakra. At the mention of the Uzumaki name, both Sasuke and Sakura glanced at Naruto, making the connection with their teammate's surname. The purpose of this mission, the Hokage continued, is twofold. First, you will survey what remains of the village for historical documentation. Second, and more importantly for your development as shinobi, you will search for surviving scrolls and artifacts that contain Uzushiogakure's famed sealing techniques. Kakashi nodded thoughtfully. Such knowledge could be valuable for the village, particularly given our historical alliance with Uzushio. Precisely, the Hokage agreed. While much was lost when the village fell, there are rumors that the Uzumaki clan secreted away their most precious knowledge in hidden sanctuaries beneath the village. Naruto remained silent, though it took considerable effort. The old man was framing the mission in a way that made sense without revealing the personal connection or the specific knowledge from Naruto's scroll. This will be classified as a B-rank mission due to the potential dangers, the Hokage informed them. The waters surrounding Uzushiogakure are treacherous. Perpetual whirlpools make approach by sea extremely challenging. Additionally, while we have no intelligence suggesting other villages are currently interested in the ruins, you should proceed with caution. Uzushio's sealing techniques would be valuable to any village, and you may not be the only one seeking them. When do we leave? Sasuke asked, clearly intrigued by the prospect of discovering powerful techniques. Tomorrow morning, the Hokage replied. You'll travel to the coastal town of Nami no Miyako, where a boat and guide will be arranged to help you navigate the whirlpools. Pack for at least a week's expedition. As the briefing concluded, the Hokage added, Kakashi, a word in private, please. The rest of you may begin your preparations. Naruto lingered, catching the Hokage's eye questioningly. With a subtle nod, Sarutobi indicated that Naruto should stay as well. Once Sasuke and Sakura had departed, the Hokage activated a privacy seal to secure the room against eavesdropping. Naruto, he began, I've decided to approve this mission based on several factors, including Kakashi's assessment of Team 7's readiness and the potential value of what might be found. His expression grew serious. However, I've chosen not to disclose the full nature of what you're seeking to your teammates, at least not yet. Naruto nodded, though he felt a twinge of discomfort at keeping secrets from Sasuke and Sakura. I understand. The coordinates and instructions in your scroll, the Hokage continued, will be essential for finding the sanctuary. Are you comfortable taking the lead on that aspect of the mission? Absolutely, Naruto confirmed without hesitation. Kakashi will need to be fully informed, of course, the Hokage added, glancing at the Jonin. I've provided him with a summary, but you should share the specific details from your scroll. I will, Naruto promised. Kakashi stepped forward. Lord Hokage, how should we explain Naruto's knowledge of the sanctuary's location if the question arises? The elderly leader considered this. A partial truth often serves better than a complete fabrication. You can explain that as an Uzumaki, Naruto has inherited certain knowledge about his clan's former home. The details can remain vague for now. Kakashi nodded in acceptance of this approach. One more thing, the Hokage added, his expression softening slightly as he addressed Naruto. This journey may uncover more than just techniques and training programs. You may learn things about your parents and your heritage that could be emotional. Are you prepared for that possibility? Naruto's expression grew determined. I've spent my whole life not knowing anything about them. Whatever I find, good or bad, it's better than nothing. The Hokage smiled. Well said. He dismissed the privacy seal with a hand sign. Both of you are dismissed. Good luck with your preparations. As they left the Hokage tower, Kakashi turned to Naruto. Come by my apartment this evening. Bring the scroll. We should go over the details together before tomorrow. Naruto agreed readily. As they parted ways, he couldn't help but feel that his life was finally moving in a direction with purpose and meaning. The road ahead might be uncertain, but for once, he wasn't walking it completely alone. That evening found Naruto seated at Kakashi's small kitchen table, the scrolls spread out between them. The Jonin had examined the instructions for finding Uzushiogakure and the hidden sanctuary with professional thoroughness. These navigation directions are quite precise, Kakashi observed. Your mother clearly knew the waters well. The scrolls said she visited the sanctuary several times after coming to Konoha, Naruto explained. She and my father expanded it when they found out they were going to have me. Kakashi nodded thoughtfully. That sounds like them, always planning ahead. His finger traced the map section of the scroll. These whirlpools are notorious. Even with these instructions, navigating them will be challenging. The scroll says they follow patterns, Naruto pointed out. There are safe passages that open at specific times based on tides and currents. We just need to time it right. Indeed. And once on the island? Kakashi prompted. There's a spiral stone monument that marks the entrance to the sanctuary, Naruto explained, pointing to a detailed drawing in the scroll. It's hidden in what used to be the central plaza of the village. The entrance beneath it can only be opened with Uzumaki blood and chakra. Kakashi raised an eyebrow. Blood seals are serious security. Whatever's down there, your parents were determined to keep it safe. Naruto nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility. The scroll says the sanctuary contains training programs, weapons, technique scrolls, and chakra imprints of my parents. This last detail clearly surprised Kakashi. Chakra imprints? That's an extremely advanced application of sealing techniques. He leaned back, contemplative. Your mother was a sealing master, but even so, that's remarkable. What exactly are chakra imprints? Naruto asked, curiosity piqued by his sensei's reaction. Think of them as echoes of a person's essence, Kakashi explained. Not quite clones, not quite consciousness, but something in between. They contain memories, personality, and can interact within the parameters of the seal that created them. He studied Naruto's reaction before adding gently, they're not truly alive, Naruto, but they can provide a connection that might otherwise be impossible. Naruto nodded, understanding the distinction but still finding hope in the possibility. Even if they're just echoes, it's more than I've ever had before. Kakashi regarded his student with newfound respect. Despite his usual boisterous exterior, Naruto was handling these revelations with surprising maturity. There's something else, Naruto continued, turning the scroll to reveal a section of complex sealing formulas. The scroll mentions special training for controlling the Nine Tails. Apparently my mom developed techniques for it since she was a Jinchuriki too. Kakashi examined the formulas with interest. These look like harmonizing seals, designed to help a Jinchuriki work with their tailed beast rather than simply suppressing it. He glanced up at Naruto. That could be invaluable for you, especially as you grow stronger. That's what I was thinking. Naruto agreed eagerly. If I can learn to work with the Nine Tails instead of just trying to use its chakra when I get angry, it could dramatically increase your effectiveness as a shinobi, Kakashi finished for him. Though such training would need to be approached with extreme caution. Their discussion continued well into the evening, going over every detail of the scroll and planning how to approach the mission. By the time Naruto left, a solid strategy had formed. They would follow the mission parameters as outlined by the Hokage, with Naruto gradually revealing his knowledge of Uzushiogakure as it became necessary, without immediately disclosing his parentage or the full truth about the sanctuary. As Naruto made his way back to his apartment, the cool night air felt invigorating against his skin. Tomorrow would begin a journey he had never dared to imagine, a journey to connect with his heritage, his family, and potentially unlock abilities he had never known he possessed. For the first time, his dream of becoming Hokage felt tangibly connected to his past. He wasn't just an orphan with an impossible ambition anymore. He was the son of the fourth Hokage, and an Uzumaki clan member, with a legacy waiting to be claimed. The path ahead would undoubtedly hold challenges, but Naruto faced the future with renewed determination. Whatever awaited him in Uzushiogakure, he would face it head-on, just as his parents would have expected. I'm coming, he whispered to the stars above, imagining his words somehow reaching his parents. I'm coming to find what you left for me. In his apartment, the sealed scroll sat on his table, its spiral and thunderbolt pattern glowing faintly in the moonlight. A beacon pointing toward a future filled with discovery and the fulfillment of a legacy. 13 years in the making. Dawn broke clear and bright over Konoha as Naruto made his final preparations. He had packed with unusual care, ensuring he had everything needed for the journey. The sealed scrolls sat securely in an inner pocket of his jacket, close to his heart. As he shouldered his backpack, Naruto glanced around his small apartment. For the first time, he wondered if the place he had always called home might soon feel different. After learning about his heritage, after potentially connecting with the chakra imprints of his parents in the sanctuary they had created for him, would the empty apartment still feel like enough? Pushing these thoughts aside, he headed for the village gates, where Team 7 had agreed to meet. To his surprise, he was the first to arrive. Even Kakashi hadn't yet made an appearance, though that was less surprising given his sensei's habitual tardiness. Soon after, Sasuke and Sakura arrived together. Both looked at Naruto with mild curiosity, noticing his uncharacteristic punctuality and the serious expression on his normally carefree face. You're actually on time, Sasuke remarked, raising an eyebrow. I'm excited about the mission, Naruto replied honestly. Aren't you curious about Uzushiogakure? A whole village that was destroyed but might have left behind powerful techniques. Sasuke nodded slightly. It could be valuable training. Sakura studied Naruto with a thoughtful expression. You know, I just realized, Uzumaki. That's your last name. Is there a connection? Naruto had anticipated this question and decided to follow the Hokage's advice about partial truths. Yeah, actually. The Uzumaki clan founded Uzushiogakure. I guess I'm probably related to them somehow. You never mentioned being from a clan before, Sasuke observed, a hint of suspicion in his tone. Naruto shrugged, trying to appear casual. I didn't know much about it until recently. The old man, the Hokage, told me a bit when he assigned this mission. Before his teammates could question him further, Kakashi appeared in a swirl of leaves, remarkably close to the agreed meeting time. Good morning, everyone, he greeted them cheerfully. Ready for our journey to the land of whirlpools? The team set out, traveling at a steady pace toward the coastal town mentioned in their mission briefing. As they moved through the forests of the land of fire, Naruto found himself unusually quiet, his mind occupied with thoughts of what lay ahead. Kakashi fell into step beside him as Sasuke and Sakura moved ahead. Nervous? The Jonin asked quietly. A little, Naruto admitted. What if we can't find it? Or what if it's not what I'm expecting? That's the nature of discovery, Kakashi replied philosophically. But whatever we find or don't find, this journey itself is significant. It's a step toward understanding your heritage. Naruto nodded, appreciating his sensei's perspective. Yeah, you're right. It's just, I've spent so long not knowing anything about where I came from. Now that I might actually find answers. It's overwhelming, Kakashi finished for him. That's natural, Naruto. They continued in companionable silence for a while before Naruto asked, Kakashi-sensei, what was it like being taught by my father? The Jonin seemed to consider the question carefully. He was an excellent teacher, patient but demanding. He had a way of seeing your potential even when you couldn't see it yourself. A hint of nostalgia crept into his voice. He believed in giving people second chances, in the power of teamwork and bonds between comrades. Like you do, Naruto observed. Kakashi's visible eye crinkled in a smile. Much of how I lead Team 7 was influenced by his example, yes. This connection between his father's teaching philosophy and his own team experience resonated deeply with Naruto. It was as if, without knowing it, he had already been experiencing a small piece of his father's legacy through Kakashi's mentorship. As the day progressed and the team continued their journey, Naruto found himself looking at his teammates with fresh perspective. Sasuke, Sakura, and Kakashi weren't just assigned comrades anymore. They were accompanying him on what might be the most important journey of his life. Whether they fully realized it yet, or not, they were helping him reclaim a piece of his identity that had been missing since birth. By evening, they had covered significant ground, making camp in a clearing near the border of the Land of Fire. Tomorrow they would cross into coastal territories and make for Nami no Miyako, where their sea journey would begin. As Naruto took his turn at watch that night, gazing up at the stars, he couldn't help but wonder if his parents had looked up at the same constellations during their own journeys. For the first time, he felt a tangible connection to them, not just as legendary figures from Konoha's past, but as real people who had loved him, planned for him, and left behind a legacy specifically for him to find. I'll make you proud, he whispered to the night sky, a promise to his parents and to himself. Whatever we find in Uzushiogakure, I'll use it to become stronger, to protect my friends and the village, just like you both did. The stars twinkled silently in response, eternal witnesses to a son's vow to honor his parents' memory, a vow that would soon be tested as Team 7 ventured toward the ruins of Uzushiogakure, and the secrets that waited beneath the whirlpools. Morning dawned crisp and clear over Team 7's campsite near the border of the Land of Fire. Naruto woke before the others, something that had been happening with increasing frequency since receiving his parents' scroll. The weight of discovery and anticipation had shifted his usual lazy morning habits. He sat up in his sleeping bag, watching the early light filter through the forest canopy. Today they would reach the coast and begin the sea portion of their journey to Uzushiogakure. According to his mother's instructions, timing would be crucial for safely navigating the treacherous whirlpools surrounding the island. Quietly, So as not to wake his teammates, Naruto removed the scroll from his jacket and unrolled it partway, focusing on the navigation section. His mother's handwriting described specific tidal patterns and landmarks to watch for. Knowledge passed down through generations of Uzumaki who had protected their island home through natural barriers as much as through shinobi might. Early riser today? Naruto looked up to find Kakashi watching him from the base of a nearby tree. His visible eye curious but understanding. Just reviewing the directions, Naruto explained, carefully rolling the scroll back up. Kakashi nodded. We should reach Nami no Miyako by midday if we maintain a good pace. According to your mother's instructions, what's the best time to attempt the crossing? The scroll says the whirlpools are calmest during the third quarter moon when the tide begins to shift from high to low, Naruto recited. That gives us a window of about 2 hours where passages open between the currents. He looked up at the brightening sky. We should be right on time if we reach the port today. The moon entered third quarter last night. Good, Kakashi nodded approvingly. Your attention to these details is impressive, Naruto. The compliment warmed Naruto, especially coming from someone who had known his parents. Before he could respond, Sasuke stirred in his sleeping bag, followed shortly by Sakura. Let's get moving, Sasuke said tersely after a quick breakfast of travel rations. If we're going to reach this coastal town by midday, we need to pick up the pace. Team 7 packed their campsite efficiently and continued their journey, moving from dense forest to rolling hills as they approached the eastern coastline of the Land of Fire. By mid-morning, the salty tang of sea air reached their nostrils, and before long, the vast blue expanse of the ocean appeared on the horizon. Sakura, who had been unusually quiet during the journey, finally voiced the question that seemed to be bothering her. Naruto, if the Uzumaki clan was from this Uzushiogakure place, how did you end up in Konoha? Naruto had been expecting this line of questioning eventually, and had prepared a simplified version of the truth. From what the old man, the Hokage, told me, Konoha and Uzushio were allies. When Uzushio was destroyed during the wars, some Uzumaki survivors came to Konoha for refuge. He shrugged as if trying to appear casual. I guess one of them was my parent or grandparent, or something. You guess? Sasuke's tone was skeptical. You don't know for certain? I was an orphan from birth, Naruto reminded him, a hint of defensiveness creeping into his voice. It's not like there was anyone around to tell me about my family history. Sasuke fell silent, perhaps recognizing the common ground they shared as orphans, albeit from vastly different circumstances. The Uzumaki were indeed close allies of Konoha, Kakashi interjected, smoothly redirecting the conversation. So much so that the Konoha flak jacket bears the Uzumaki clan spiral as a sign of our village's friendship. He gestured to the red spiral on his own vest. Their specialty in sealing techniques made them both valuable allies and dangerous enemies. It's why they were targeted during the wars. Sakura's eyes widened in recognition. So that's what that symbol means. I always thought it was just a Konoha design. She glanced at Naruto with newfound respect. Your clan must have been pretty important, Naruto. I guess so, Naruto replied, genuinely surprised by this information despite having read it in his parents' scroll. Hearing it confirmed by Kakashi, in context with the visible symbol they all wore, made the connection more tangible somehow. As they continued toward the coast, Kakashi shared more general information about the Uzumaki clan and Uzushiogakure, their renowned vitality and chakra reserves, their mastery of sealing techniques that had made even the great nations wary, and the tragic destruction of their village when multiple enemy nations decided they posed too great a threat. Naruto listened intently, absorbing these details about his mother's clan with a hunger that surprised even him. Each fact, each historical note, filled in pieces of a puzzle he hadn't even known was incomplete. So the purpose of our mission makes even more sense now, Sakura observed thoughtfully. If the Uzumaki were Konoha's allies and had such valuable techniques, recovering any of their lost knowledge would be important for the village. Precisely, Kakashi confirmed. And as the ruins are likely to have security measures designed to respond to Uzumaki chakra, he glanced meaningfully at Naruto. Having a team member with Uzumaki lineage could be crucial to the mission's success. Sasuke's gaze sharpened with interest. Is that why Naruto was included? Because he might be able to access sealed areas? I'm a full-fledged member of Team 7 regardless of my name, Naruto bristled slightly. No one's suggesting otherwise, Kakashi assured him smoothly. But your heritage may indeed prove valuable for this particular mission. By midday, just as Kakashi had predicted, the team arrived at Nami no Miyako, a bustling fishing port nestled in a natural harbor. The town showed signs of recent economic growth, with new construction alongside weathered fishing vessels and traditional buildings. Our contact should be waiting at the harbor master's office, Kakashi informed them, leading the way through busy streets filled with fishermen, merchants, and dock workers. The harbor master's office stood at the end of the main pier, a two-story building with wide windows overlooking the harbor. Inside they found a grizzled older man with leathery, sun-darkened skin and a salt and pepper beard engaged in conversation with a much younger woman in simple but well-made traveling clothes. The woman turned as they entered, revealing sharp features and observant eyes that immediately assessed the newcomers. Most strikingly, despite her apparent youth, her hair was a vibrant shade of deep red that immediately caught Naruto's attention. You must be the Konoha team, she said, stepping forward with a slight bow. I'm Amaya, your guide to the Uzushio ruins. Kakashi returned the bow formally. Kakashi Hatake, Jonin of Konoha. These are my students, Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno, and Naruto Uzumaki. At the mention of Naruto's surname, Amaya's eyes widened almost imperceptibly, her gaze lingering on him for a moment longer than the others. Uzumaki? She repeated softly. That's right, Naruto confirmed, studying her red hair with equal curiosity. Are you? A small smile touched Amaya's lips. My grandmother was an Uzumaki who escaped Uzushio's destruction. The blood has thinned over generations, but yes, we share some distant kinship. She gestured to her hair, though this is perhaps the most visible remnant of that heritage. Naruto couldn't hide his excitement at meeting someone with connections to his mother's clan, however distant. That's amazing. I didn't think I'd meet any other Uzumaki descendants. We are few and scattered now, Amaya acknowledged, but some of us maintain connections to our heritage. She turned back to Kakashi. I've prepared a vessel suitable for the journey. If the weather holds and we time the tides correctly, we can attempt the crossing this evening. That aligns with our information as well, Kakashi agreed, with a subtle nod to Naruto. Amaya led them from the harbor master's office to the docks, where a sleek vessel awaited them. Unlike the heavy fishing boats that dominated the harbor, this craft was designed for speed and maneuverability, essential qualities for navigating the dangerous waters surrounding Uzushiogakure. She doesn't look like much, Amaya patted the hull affectionately, but the whirlpool dancer is specially designed for the currents around Uzushio. My family has maintained her for generations, making the occasional pilgrimage to pay respects to our ancestral home. Naruto ran his hand along the boat's railing, noting the spiral patterns carved into the wood, subtle Uzumaki symbols integrated into the design. She's perfect, he declared with certainty. They spent the next few hours helping Amaya prepare for the journey, loading supplies and checking the vessel's readiness. As they worked, Naruto found opportunities to speak privately with their guide, eager to learn anything she might know about the Uzumaki clan and Uzushiogakure. How much do you know about the hidden sanctuary beneath the village? He asked quietly while they secured supplies in the boat's small hold. Amaya glanced at him sharply. The existence of such sanctuaries is not common knowledge, she replied, her voice equally hushed. How do you come to ask about it? Naruto hesitated, unsure how much to reveal. I have information, he finally said. Instructions left by my mother, who was an Uzumaki. Understanding dawned in Amaya's eyes. I see. You're not simply of distant Uzumaki descent, are you? You're a direct bloodline member. Naruto nodded. That explains why a Konoha teen would suddenly develop interest in the ruins, she mused. My grandmother spoke of sacred places beneath Uzushio that only those of true Uzumaki blood could access, places where the clan's most precious knowledge was safeguarded. She studied Naruto with newfound intensity. If you have specific instructions to such a place, that would be significant. Do you know if anyone else has tried to find these sanctuaries? Naruto asked, concerned about potential competitors or dangers. Occasionally treasure hunters or shinobi from other villages attempt to explore the ruins, Amaya admitted. Most are turned back by the whirlpools. Those few who make it to the island typically find little of value. The visible ruins have been picked clean over the decades. She shook her head. But the deeper secrets? The hidden places protected by Uzumaki sealing techniques? Those have remained secure, as far as I know. This reassured Naruto somewhat, though he remained alert to the possibility of encountering others with interest in Uzushio's secrets. By late afternoon, the tide had begun its crucial shift, and Amaya announced it was time to depart. The team boarded the whirlpool dancer as their guide made final preparations, checking instruments that measured current strength and water conditions. The passage will be challenging, she warned as they cast off from the dock. The whirlpools surrounding Uzushio are not natural formations. They were created and maintained by complex sealing techniques that have somehow persisted even after the village's destruction. Persistent seals? Sakura sounded impressed. How is that possible after so many years? The Uzumaki were masters of their craft, Amaya replied, her voice carrying a note of pride. Some of their greatest works were designed to draw power from natural energy itself, allowing them to endure long after their creators perished. As the whirlpool dancer cleared the harbor and entered open waters, the afternoon sun warmed their faces while a brisk sea breeze filled the vessel's sails. For the first few hours of their journey, the sailing was smooth and uneventful, with Amaya confidently guiding them eastward toward their destination. Naruto stood at the bow, watching the horizon with anticipation. Somewhere ahead lay the homeland of his mother's people, a place connected to his blood and heritage in ways he was only beginning to understand. Kakashi joined him silently, following his gaze toward the eastern horizon. Thinking about your mother? He asked after a comfortable silence. Naruto nodded. She must have made this same journey, returning to check on the sanctuary after moving to Konoha. Kushina was devoted to preserving her clan's legacy, Kakashi confirmed. Even after Uzushio's fall, she carried its spirit and knowledge with her. He glanced at Naruto. Much as you do now, perhaps without having realized it. What do you mean? Your remarkable chakra reserves, your stamina and recovery abilities, even your persistent personality, Kakashi elaborated with a hint of amusement. These are all traits commonly associated with the Uzumaki clan. Naruto absorbed this information, finding comfort in these tangible connections to his heritage. So even before I knew about any of this, I was still an Uzumaki in more than just name. Indeed, Kakashi agreed. And soon you'll have the opportunity to connect with that heritage more directly. As the afternoon waned toward evening, the sea began to change around them. What had been relatively calm waters grew increasingly turbulent, with strange currents pulling at the vessel from unexpected directions. We're entering the outer boundary, Amaya announced, her posture alert as she adjusted their course with practiced precision. From here forward, maintain your positions and follow my instructions exactly. The slightest mistake in these waters can be fatal. Team 7 took their assigned places, Sasuke and Sakura securing loose equipment and managing the sails under Amaya's direction, while Kakashi stood ready to assist with navigation. Naruto positioned himself near Amaya at the helm, the scroll from his parents open to the navigation section. The passage described here, he pointed to specific instructions on the scroll, mentions a pathway of calm between the 3rd and 4th sentinel whirlpools that opens during the turning tide. Amaya studied the instructions with obvious interest. This is remarkably detailed, and aligns with my family's traditional approach, though with additional specifics I haven't seen before. She nodded approvingly. These instructions could make our passage considerably safer. As they ventured deeper into the protected waters, the first of the infamous whirlpools came into view, massive vortices that spiraled down into dark depths, their roaring audible even over the sound of wind and waves. The sight was both terrifying and mesmerizing, power made visible in the churning waters. 3rd Sentinel approaching to port, Amaya called out, adjusting their heading with careful precision. Prepare for current shift. The whirlpool dancers suddenly lurched as competing currents caught the hull, threatening to pull them off course. Sasuke and Sakura worked in tandem to adjust the sails while Kakashi channeled chakra to stabilize the vessel. 4th Sentinel visible at 2 o'clock, Naruto announced, spotting the telltale disturbance in the water described in his mother's instructions. The passage should open between them in the next 10 minutes as the tide continues to shift. Amaya looked impressed by his knowledge but remained focused on their perilous navigation. Watch for the surface calming. It will be subtle at first, just a smoothing of the chop between the 2 major vortices. They held position as best they could against the powerful currents, waiting for the predicted calm passage to appear. The minutes stretched nerve-wrackingly long as the whirlpools on either side seemed to grow rather than diminish. Maybe the instructions are wrong? Sakura suggested nervously as a particularly strong wave rocked the boat. Wait, Naruto insisted, confidence unwavering. My mother navigated these waters multiple times. She knew what she was talking about. Just as doubt began to creep in, Naruto noticed it. A subtle change in the water's pattern directly ahead, where the chaotic chop was giving way to an unnaturally smooth path between the 2 massive whirlpools. There. He pointed excitedly. The passage is opening. Amaya's eyes widened as she confirmed his observation. He's right. Full sail now. We need to catch this current before it closes again. The team sprang into action, unfurling additional sail to capture the strengthening wind. The whirlpool dancer leapt forward as if eager to traverse the dangerous waters, riding the narrow channel of calm that had mysteriously appeared between the threatening vortices. Maintain course directly through the center, Naruto instructed, reading from the scroll. The passage will remain open for approximately 18 minutes before the tide shifts too far. Their vessel shot through the opening, the roar of the whirlpools deafening on either side. The experience was exhilarating and terrifying in equal measure. One miscalculation would send them spiraling into depths from which there would be no return. As they cleared the most dangerous section, a collective sigh of relief passed through the team. But Amaya's expression remained tense. We've passed the sentinel whirlpools, but we're not clear yet, she cautioned. The approach to the island itself is guarded by a series of smaller but equally dangerous currents. The scroll in Naruto's hands seemed to anticipate this challenge as well. The next section speaks of the spiral path, a counterclockwise approach that follows the natural flow of the defensive currents rather than fighting against them. Amaya nodded in agreement. Yes, that's the traditional approach. The currents around Uzushio always flow in spirals. It's how the island got its name. Under their combined guidance, the whirlpool dancer traced a winding path through the remaining hazardous waters. The journey remained tense, requiring constant vigilance and precise navigation, but the worst dangers now lay behind them. As the sun dipped toward the horizon, casting long golden rays across the sea, a dark shape finally appeared ahead, the silhouette of an island rising from the turbulent waters. Uzushiogakure, Amaya announced with reverence in her voice. The ancestral home of the Uzumaki clan. Naruto stood transfixed as the island grew larger in their vision. Even from a distance, he could make out the remnants of what must have once been impressive structures. Broken towers and crumbling walls perched on cliffs above the churning sea. It's beautiful, he whispered, feeling a strange sense of homecoming despite never having set foot on these shores. It was once even more so, Amaya said softly. My grandmother spoke of white stone buildings with red roof tiles, spiral designs incorporated into every structure, and ceiling matrices so complex and beautiful they were considered works of art as much as functional techniques. As they drew closer to the island, the defensive whirlpools gradually gave way to calmer waters. A natural harbor on the eastern side of the island provided a safe approach, protected by high cliffs on either side. This was the main port of Uzushiogakure, Amaya explained as she guided their vessel toward the remnants of stone docks. According to my grandmother, in its heyday, the harbor would be filled with trading vessels from across the nations, coming to exchange goods and knowledge with the Uzumaki. The whirlpool dancer glided smoothly into the protected waters of the harbor, as the last rays of sunlight painted the ruins in shades of gold and amber. Amaya expertly maneuvered them alongside a section of dock that remained relatively intact, and Kakashi secured the vessel with chakra-enhanced ropes. We should make camp here for the night, Kakashi decided, noting the rapidly fading light. We can begin exploring the ruins properly in the morning. No one argued with this sensible approach, though Naruto could barely contain his eagerness to begin searching for the hidden sanctuary. The island called to something deep within him, a connection to his bloodline that transcended his conscious understanding. They established a simple camp on a flat area just above the dock, with a clear view of both their vessel and the main approach to the ruined village. As darkness fell completely, the team gathered around a small, controlled fire for warmth and light. "What can you tell us about the fall of Uzushiogakure?" Sasuke asked Amaya as they ate a simple dinner of travel rations supplemented with fresh fish caught during their journey. Amaya's expression grew solemn. It happened during the era of the Second Shinobi World War. The Uzumaki clan's sealing techniques had become legendary, feared as much as coveted by the other nations. Some villages sought alliance with them, as Konoha did. Others. She paused, her voice tightening. Others decided that such power should either be controlled or eliminated. So they attacked, Sakura surmised quietly. A coalition of nations launched a coordinated assault, Amaya confirmed. Kirigakure led the attack, with support from several smaller nations. Even against such overwhelming force, the Uzumaki fought fiercely. A hint of pride entered her voice. The battle lasted 7 days and nights, far longer than the attackers had anticipated against a single village. 7 days against multiple nations? Sasuke sounded impressed despite himself. Their defensive capabilities must have been formidable. They were, Amaya nodded. The whirlpools we navigated today were just the outer layer of protection. The village itself was fortified with sealing techniques that could redirect enemy attacks, create impenetrable barriers, and even seal away entire squadrons of enemy shinobi. Then how did they fall? Naruto asked, trying to understand how his mother's people, despite such power, had been defeated. Amaya sighed deeply. Through sustained assault and overwhelming numbers. Even the greatest defensive seals require chakra to maintain, and eventually, the defenders were exhausted. When it became clear that defeat was inevitable, the clan elders made a decision that saved some while dooming others. Her gaze drifted to the dark ruins looming above them. The youngest children and a handful of adults were evacuated secretly, while the majority of the clan remained to cover their escape, fighting to the bitter end. Silence fell over the group as they contemplated the sacrifice made by the Uzumaki clan. Naruto felt the weight of this history acutely. These were his mother's people who had fought and died, allowing survivors like Kushina to escape and preserve the bloodline. Some refugees found sanctuary in Konoha, due to our village's long-standing alliance, Kakashi added, glancing meaningfully at Naruto. Others scattered across the nations, often concealing their heritage for safety. Which is why we're so few and disconnected now, Amaya concluded. Though some of us still remember our origins and honor the old ways when possible. As the conversation continued, Naruto found himself growing quieter, absorbing the tragic history of his maternal ancestors. Eventually, he excused himself from the fireside, walking to the edge of the camp where he could look out over the moonlit ruins. Sasuke, surprisingly, joined him after a few minutes of solitude. "So this is part of your heritage," the Uchiha observed, his tone neutral rather than challenging for once. "Yeah," Naruto confirmed quietly. "Strange to think about, isn't it? All this time, I had no idea." Sasuke was silent for a long moment before responding. "At least you're discovering it now. Better late than never knowing at all." The comment held unexpected depth coming from Sasuke, whose own clan had been annihilated while he was still a child. Perhaps he, more than anyone, could understand the complex emotions Naruto was experiencing, the connection to a legacy that existed now more in memory than reality. "Tomorrow we'll search for the hidden sanctuary," Naruto said, changing the subject slightly. "According to the scroll, it contains knowledge and techniques preserved specifically for future generations of Uzumaki." Sasuke's interest visibly sharpened. "What kind of techniques?" "Sealing methods, primarily," Naruto replied truthfully, if incompletely. The Uzumaki were specialists in Fuinjutsu, sealing techniques. Some could seal away massive amounts of chakra, create barriers, even seal living beings. He unconsciously touched his stomach, where the 9 tails was contained by his father's seal. "Useful skills," Sasuke acknowledged. "Though not as directly combat applicable as fire or lightning techniques." Naruto smiled slightly. "Don't underestimate sealing techniques. According to what I've learned, skilled Uzumaki could seal an enemy's chakra, immobilize entire squads with barrier techniques, or even create explosive tags powerful enough to level mountains." This clearly impressed Sasuke, though he tried not to show it. "We should get some rest. Tomorrow will require focus if we're to find anything of value in these ruins." As Sasuke walked back toward the camp, Naruto remained at the overlook for a few minutes longer, watching the moonlight play across the broken stones of Uzushiogakure. Somewhere among those ruins lay the entrance to the sanctuary his parents had prepared, a connection to his past and potentially a key to his future growth as a shinobi. "I'm here, Mom," he whispered to the night air. "I found my way to your homeland." Morning arrived with a gentle sea breeze and the calls of seabirds circling the island's cliffs. Team 7 awoke to find Amaya already up, preparing a simple breakfast of rice, dried fish, and freshly foraged island herbs. "The herbs growing here are uniquely nutritious," she explained as they ate. The Uzumaki incorporated them into their diet, which some believe contributed to their renowned longevity and vitality. Naruto savored the unfamiliar but pleasant flavors, imagining his mother perhaps enjoying similar meals during her childhood on this island. After breakfast, they prepared for the day's exploration. According to both Amaya's knowledge and the scroll's instructions, the central plaza of Uzushiogakure lay at the heart of the island, reachable via a winding path that climbed from the harbor through what had once been a thriving village. The main settlement was built in a spiral pattern, Amaya explained as they began their ascent. Streets and buildings arranged in concentric circles around the central plaza, where the clan's administrative buildings and most important structures were located. As they climbed higher, the extent of the destruction became more apparent. What had once been carefully planned streets were now overgrown paths between crumbling walls and collapsed buildings. Yet even in ruin, the grandeur of Uzushiogakure was evident: massive stone foundations, the remnants of multi-story structures, and everywhere, the spiral motif incorporated into the architecture. The craftsmanship is remarkable, Sakura observed, examining a partially intact wall with intricate spiral patterns carved into the stone. And look at these ceiling formulas integrated into the designs. They're not just decorative. The entire village was one massive ceiling array, Amaya confirmed. Every building, every street, every stone wall contained elements of a larger protective matrix. When activated, the entire village could become an impenetrable fortress. Until it wasn't, Sasuke noted grimly, gesturing to the widespread destruction around them. They continued their climb, occasionally stopping to examine particularly interesting ruins or viewpoints. Naruto found himself increasingly drawn to certain paths or landmarks, guided by an intuition he couldn't fully explain. It's this way, he would say at forks in the path, often before Amaya could offer direction. After the third such instance, Amaya gave him a curious look. You navigate like someone who's been here before, she observed. Yet you said this is your first visit. Naruto shrugged, equally puzzled by his own certainty. It just feels right somehow. Like I know which way to go. Blood memory, Amaya suggested thoughtfully. Some Uzumaki believed that certain knowledge or feelings could be inherited through our bloodline, a connection to our ancestors and homeland that transcends conscious learning. Kakashi, listening nearby, added his own perspective. It could also be a resonance with the sealing techniques embedded throughout the island. If they're designed to respond to Uzumaki chakra, Naruto might be unconsciously sensing their presence. Whatever the explanation, Naruto's intuition proved reliable as they navigated the winding paths of the ruined village. By midday, they had reached what was unmistakably the central plaza, a large open area paved with white stone, now cracked and weathered but still forming a perfect circle. In the center of the plaza stood what remained of a monumental stone structure. Most of the building had collapsed, but a single massive pillar remained upright, carved with intricate spiral patterns that seemed to flow into one another in endless loops. The spiral pillar, Amaya identified it with reverence. This was the center of village governance and ceremony. According to tradition, it's where the founding seals of Uzushiogakure were placed. Naruto approached the pillar slowly, drawn by an inexplicable pull. As he neared it, the carved spirals seemed to shimmer slightly, though whether this was a trick of the light, or something more significant wasn't immediately clear. This is it, he said with certainty, his fingers tracing one of the spirals. The entrance to the sanctuary is connected to this pillar. Amaya looked surprised. The pillar itself has been thoroughly examined by the occasional explorer over the years. There's no entrance visible. Not visible, Naruto agreed, but present. He pulled out the scroll, opening it to the section describing the hidden entrance. According to these instructions, the entrance is beneath the pillar, accessible only when the correct sequence of spirals is activated with Uzumaki blood and chakra. Kakashi moved closer, examining the pillar with his visible eye. Fascinating. A blood seal disguised within decorative carvings. Most seekers would assume the spirals were purely ornamental. We should secure the perimeter, Sasuke suggested pragmatically. If this place has remained hidden for decades, we don't want to attract unwanted attention while opening it. Kakashi nodded in agreement. Good thinking. Sasuke, Sakura, establish a watch around the plaza. Signal immediately if you detect anyone approaching. As his teammates moved to secure the area, Naruto studied the pillar more carefully, comparing the carvings to the diagrams in his parents' scroll. There's a specific sequence, he murmured, tracing the patterns with his finger. 7 spirals that need to be activated in the correct order. Do you need assistance? Amaya asked, clearly fascinated by the process. Naruto considered her offer. While she claimed some Uzumaki ancestry, he wasn't certain if her blood would be recognized by the seal. I think I need to do this myself, he decided. The instructions are specific about true Uzumaki blood. Understanding, Amaya stepped back to give him space while remaining close enough to observe. Following the scroll's guidance, Naruto bit his thumb hard enough to draw blood, then pressed it to the first spiral indicated in the sequence. As his blood made contact with the stone, the carved spiral briefly glowed with a soft blue light. Encouraged by this response, Naruto continued, pressing his bloody thumb to each of the 7 spirals in the precise order indicated by the scroll. With each activation, the blue glow spread further across the pillar's surface, connecting the spirals with luminous lines that had been invisible moments before. After activating the 7th and final spiral, Naruto channeled his chakra into the complete pattern as instructed. Now I need to push chakra into the entire sequence, he explained to the others. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The entire pillar illuminated with brilliant blue-white light, the spiral pattern seeming to move and flow like actual whirlpools carved into the stone. The ground beneath them trembled slightly as an ancient mechanism activated. Slowly, the massive stone pillar began to shift, rotating counterclockwise while simultaneously sinking into the ground. As it descended, it revealed a spiral staircase hewn from the same white stone, leading down into darkness. Incredible, Amaya breathed, her eyes wide with wonder. A hidden sanctuary, just as the old stories claimed. Kakashi called Sasuke and Sakura back from their watch positions to witness the revealed entrance. Well done, Naruto, he said approvingly. Though we should proceed with caution. A place protected by such elaborate seals may have additional security measures inside. Naruto nodded, understanding the concern but barely able to contain his excitement. According to the scroll, the main chamber should recognize me as an Uzumaki and grant safe passage. He peered down the staircase, which was illuminated by a soft, ambient light that seemed to emanate from the very stones. But you're right, we should be careful. Kakashi took point as they descended the staircase, followed by Naruto, then Sakura and Sasuke, with Amaya bringing up the rear. The stairs spiraled downward for what seemed like hundreds of feet, taking them deep beneath the island's surface. The air is fresh, Sakura noted with surprise. There must be some ventilation system, even this far underground. The Uzumaki were nothing if not thorough in their designs, Amaya commented. Their most important sanctuaries were built to last for generations. Finally, the staircase opened into a large antechamber with a high, domed ceiling. The walls were lined with intricate sealing formulas that pulsed gently with chakra, and at the center of the room stood a large circular platform inscribed with an enormous spiral pattern. Another seal, Kakashi observed, examining the platform cautiously. Naruto consulted the scroll once more. This is the confirmation seal. It's designed to verify Uzumaki bloodline and grant access to the inner chambers. He looked up at his teammates, and Amaya. I need to stand in the center and offer blood again, but... He hesitated. The scroll warns that non-Uzumaki who attempt to pass beyond this point without being properly authorized might trigger defensive measures. Then you should proceed alone initially, Kakashi decided after a moment's consideration. Establish your access rights according to the instructions, then see if there's a way to authorize the rest of us to enter safely.